All right, so now we're gonna show a submission from the back. The back position is considered one of the best positions because there's so many submission options and it's such dominant control. All right, so we've covered some of the control aspects, we've covered some back retention, and now let's get into a finish. So normally you don't start on the back in a seated position, but just to make the technique a little easier to show, we start here. I'm gonna show doing the bow and arrow choke already on the back, and then I want to show it in the context of one of the resets that we did, because oftentimes I can go right from my reset into the submission. Okay, so I have my seatbelt. If I'm in control, I'm gonna bring Coach Jamie to the side of the underhook. If we're on the overhook side, I'd say that's more likely where I would reset the back and then attack the submission. So we're gonna start with falling to the underhook side. All right, I keep my chin tight to the shoulder, I have a tight seatbelt, and I have 2 strong hooks, back heeling, and knees squeezing. Now, the first thing I need to do is adjust my angle of my hooks. So what I'm gonna do is take my top hook out and step right on her hip. Okay, what that helps me do is shift her hips down as I bring my bottom hook across her hips. Okay, the reason I do this is because, as we know from before, she's trying to escape her hips from my hooks, okay, through my legs. So if I can bring this hook across her body, it's gonna be much more difficult for her to escape, okay, because she's gonna be turning right into my leg. Okay, so I push her down with this hook a little bit, and then I bring this hook across her body. If I want, I can cross my feet, but it's not absolutely necessary, especially because I'm going to be trying to bring my top hook across her shoulder in a second anyway. Okay, so I'm here, all right, stepping on the hip and bottom hook across. Now what I'll start doing is using my underhook arm to open up this bottom lapel. Okay, I open up the bottom lapel. Sometimes I flip it out, sometimes I don't. Ideally, I'm able to flip it out. I feel like it's easier to make a grip when I can flip her collar. Okay, but you know, if I can't, it's fine. I just feed in a deep collar grip just like so. There's varying degrees of shallowness that you can make with your grip. I don't know if shallowness is a word, but different people will suggest different things as far as how deep or shallow your grip should be. I guess I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not like fully choking somebody with the grip already, but I'm not so loose that I'm not going to be able to choke them. I find that just right spot for me, and usually I feel like it's with my wrist right about under her chin or under her neck. Okay, so I use my underhook hand to open up the gi. Okay, my top hand grips. Okay, and then my underhook hand, once it lets go, is going to grab a similar grip on the opposite collar. Okay, just a little bit lower. So right now I have cross collar grips. Okay, and this is the most basic back choke, okay, but it's probably the one that I hit the most often. Now, when I'm trying to set my angle, sometimes, like if you can tell by our body types, I probably could just throw my leg right over Coach Jamie's shoulder. All right, but what might be even better is if I can create more of an angle, okay, and I can do that by stepping my right foot here on the mat, doing a little bit more of a hip escape, and then pushing Coach Jamie down towards my hips, okay? Now you see it'll be much easier for me to throw my leg over Coach Jamie's shoulder because I've set this angle. So look, I push her down, I've already hip escaped. I'm being a little lazy with my bottom hook. I really should be keeping it up here like this, okay? But forgive me, I haven't trained very much in a long time, okay? So keep this bottom leg up, all right? And then my top leg is gonna come over her shoulder. And what's great about this is that I can fight with her top arm here with my leg. So say she's trying to break my grips, I can use my heel to fight this grip, okay? And then I can lock my legs over her shoulder, effectively taking that arm out of the equation. All right, something else I should mention is that my right elbow needs to be tucked in towards my hip. If it's too loose, she can loop her head out. So I keep this elbow in tight towards my hip. The action I'm gonna be using to finish this is like crossing my arms or stretching my arms away as I stretch my legs away. So I have my grips set, my elbows are in tight, I'm stretching the gi, okay, crossing her lapels and extending my legs. Okay, and usually that's enough to get a submission. So now Coach Jamie's gonna fall to the overhook side. Okay, so she falls to the overhook side. All right, I'm gonna be kind of stuck here, all right? I mean, look, first I'm keeping my hooks in. If I could just do the easy reset and bring her back, all right, that's what I would do. Okay, but for the sake of showing you guys the choke from the chair sit position, I'm gonna remove my own hooks, okay? This is something I'll even do during live sparring. Like I'll remove my own hooks to try to finish this submission. It's not always the best idea because you might lose the position. Of course, you'd rather keep the back position than just go for the submission and not care about the position at all. Because you want to keep the best control possible and then eventually work to an easy submission. But sometimes I take this risk, you know, just because I want to, or maybe the time is ending and I want to get a finish. Okay, so I remove my bottom hook. I bring my top hook behind the bend of her knee. Now, oftentimes when I remove the top hook on my own, the person begins to bring their knee in closer to their chest to not allow me to reset that top hook, okay? In general, you wouldn't remove the top hook yourself, okay? But if you're trying to get this submission, you might, all right? So I'm gonna put this hook behind the bend of her knee, and that's gonna allow me to lift her hips over my knee. So I extend this leg, and then I'm gonna scissor this right leg out, okay, so that her hips fall, okay, to the mat. What this is gonna allow me to do is now turn her up to her side. So I push off my feet, I push into her with my chest, I turn up to my knees, okay, and I can begin that chair sit back take. All right, but as I reset myself for that chair sit back take, what you're gonna see, okay, is that I'm gonna start feeding the lapels from here, okay? So instead of just bringing my left leg over, putting the pressure, putting my hook in and retaking the back, I'm gonna use my underhook hand to quickly pass the lapel to my top hand, okay? And then I'm gonna let go with that top, underhook hand and set a cross grip on the other collar. Now what I can do from here is start laying back, okay? Breaking that rule I was saying before. I can bring my chest away from her back a little bit now because I have the choke, okay? I start leaning my chest back, keeping my elbow tight to my hip. I throw my left leg over, and then as I fall back towards my left side, I'm gonna throw my right leg over her shoulder. Okay, so I start falling back towards my left. My right leg goes over the shoulder. I cross my legs, and then I finish the choke the same way we were explaining before. So to show this back side of this same transition, we fall to the side of the overhook, and I remove my own hooks so that I could begin setting up this choke. I take my bottom hook out. As I take my top hook out, Coach Jamie brings her knee towards her chest to block that space and not allow me to put the hook back in, okay, which is the right move because it would be kind of a mistake for me to just take this out unless I am able to do what I'm gonna do right now, okay? But what she's doing is giving me the opportunity to put this hook behind her knee. So now I have this hook right here. I'm gonna extend this leg and bring her hips over my bottom leg. So I extend the leg, I pull my bottom leg out, and now I have her hips on the mat. Okay, I'm gonna use my seatbelt and my feet on the mat to turn her, pushing into her with my foot and my chest here. I turn up to my knees, shoelaces against the back, stepping up, pulling my elbow onto my knee. Okay, and that's gonna allow me to start setting up that choke. Now remember, I could just lean to my side, apply some shoulder pressure, and start taking her back. But instead, what I'm gonna do is feed that lapel grip. Okay, what you guys can't see from here, but what I want you to see is the finish. Okay, so I feed the lapel grips as I did before. I start leaning to my side or leaning back a little bit. That gives you the space to throw the leg over. And again, I wouldn't do this if I was just trying to take her back, but because I have the lapels, I'm a little bit safer here. So I throw the leg over, I keep my elbow tucked into my hip. I fall all the way to my left side. Okay, and now I can throw my right hook over, take her arm out if I need to, cross the legs, and then I'm extending the lapels away, keeping my elbow tucked in. I extend my legs away, and I finish that cross choke.